WWE Superstars premieres April 16th at 8 East 8 West on WGN America.
Chicago White Sox baseball in high definition is sponsored by Comcast. Welcome back to U.S. Cellular Field. When you're taking a game in person at the ballpark, one of the things you don't want to miss is the White Sox players' introduction video that plays on the scoreboard before each game. Central champion.
Sox win! Sox win! Great play by Anderson. They'll get the job done, and this ball game is over! A reverse slam. Wise to slam the Tigers. The break. And
all right, fans, it is now 7-11 and time for the first pitch. Tonight's game is presented by 7-Eleven. And we'll get to the lineups and umpires a little bit later, but Coco Crisp stands in. Crisp, 1 for 5 yesterday, takes first pitch strike from the 26-year-old 6'5", 230-pound right-hander Gavin Floyd. Gavin, of course, 17-8 last year with a 3.84 ERA. Josh Fields in on the grass at third, outfield, swung around to the left. And that's just off the outside corner. Crisp, last season, hit .283, 7 homers, and drove in 41 for Boston.
And can cover a world of ground in center field. Jacoby Ellsbury took over in center, and Crisp is now in KC.
And there's a souvenir left side. So the count 1-2. And if you missed that ball game yesterday, Stone Pony, it's been a while since we've seen a thriller like that in an opener.
Well, especially as well played as the game was, and as well executed as it was, except for one bunt on the part of the Sox.
He gone. Hook.
We'll take a look at the starting lineup for the Kansas City Royals. Coco Crisp caught looking, followed by David DeJesus, Mark Teahan. In the middle, Guillen, Jacobs, and Butler. The tail end, Gordon, Olivo, and Aviles. An improved lineup for these Kansas City Royals.
Much improved ball club. Here is David DeJesus. He was 1 for 5 yesterday. That Kansas City, one of the most improved teams in the American League.
I think if their pitching holds up, they're going to be tough to deal with, especially with their closer Sorry and the fact that they now have some power.
Well, the 3 guys that they're running out there against us in this series, Gilmesh yesterday, Greinke today, Kyle Davies tomorrow, that's not too shabby.
Carlos Quentin has to be careful in left field because DeJesus will take the ball out that way.
High pop-up, got in on him. Now, Alexi is called off by Wise. Alexi, and we'll get to that after we show you the defense.
He certainly is a player to be named later. And the defense, left to right, Quentin Wise and Dye in the infield. Fields, who had a great game yesterday, Ramirez, Getz, and Konerko. A.J. Pierzynski behind the plate, and Gavin Floyd looking for win number 1 on the hill.
Here's Mark Teahan, the second baseman. As there's first pitch fastball strike in.
We'll take a look at Gavin Floyd. It was a breakout year last year. 1 complete game. Opponents hit .241 against him. And as you can see, he was a workhorse, 206 innings.
And why are we calling Alexi again?
Well, there was some controversy that perhaps it was Alex Say or Alex Say or a number of other things. But he figured last year when we called him Alexi, he hit so well. And this year, as Alexei, he hasn't hit anything. So it'll be Alexi, and he'll start hitting.
Well, he finished second Rookie of the Year voting. So, I mean, why would you want to change anything?
You wouldn't want to change a thing.
I talked to him about that in spring training when we were told that that was really not the correct pronunciation. He said, I don't care. You know. He gone. Another curveball, another hook by Floyd. A 1-2-3 inning after a half inning of play. It's the Royals nothing and the good guys coming to bat.
We're back at U.S. Cellular, and the White Sox lineup features Wise, Getz, and Quentin, 1, 2, and 3 in the middle. Tomey, Dye, and Konerko. A.J. Pierzynski in the 7th spot with Alexi Ramirez 8, and Josh Fields with a big day yesterday in the 9th spot. There's a look at the defense and how they'll line up. Behind Greinke, left to right, it's DeJesus, Crisp, and Guillen. In the infield, Gordon, Aviles, Teahan, and Jacobs. Olivo behind the plate, and the aforementioned Greinke on the hill. Zach Greinke, 13-10, ERA in the mid-3s. He's got overwhelming stuff. Question is, with the newfound straight change, will that be enough to keep hitters off that first ball fastball?
First pitch to Dwayne Wise is taken for a strike. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. Wise had a tough day yesterday. 0 for 4. And very quickly the count 0-2.
Greinke has a good hard slider. He's one of those guys that you always think is going to do a whole lot better. And Hawkey signed a 4-year contract before this season started, giving him some stability. He knows where he's going to be, and they think it'll pay dividends for him.
I've watched Greinke since he was in high school, pitching for the Popka Blue Darters. You should see him play shortstop. You should see him hit. And you should see him hit a golf ball. Talked with Zach before the game. And he told me about that change. I said, what kind of springs do you have? He said, horrible. He said, the last 3 times out, it started coming around a little bit. But he said, the changeup, he's close to getting it. He said, he's close. He's a tremendous athlete. So when a guy tells you he's close to getting it, he probably is. And it's obviously the changeup is to take these left-handed hitters off his hard stuff. As there's a chopper two hopper. And that's out number 1. And right now, let's check out our picks to click. Hall of Fame director, our Hall of Fame director, Jim Angio. And the crew will go with Chris Getz. Steve and Lisa will go with A.J. Pierzynski. And Terry Hamley, Roger Clare, Mike Williams, and all the great folks. Out at Bolingbrook and I, we're going to go with Alexi Ramirez.
One of the things that Chris Getz is going to have to do, and he hasn't done a whole lot of it, is at least show bunt every now and then, because he's got Gordon in on the grass at third, but he's got Jacobs back trying to fill that hole on the right side.
That's up high. And of course, those picks to click brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Visit southwest.com today. Chris had that big base hit yesterday. He was 2 for 4 in that game. Looped a little single out there after the beautiful bunt by Josh Fields. Looped that single out there into right field. And of course, Josh Fields had checked his outfielders. Knew Guillen could not get there and easily strolled into third. The 2-1 delivery. There's a strike on the inside.
Greinke uses that breaking pitch, which is a combination between curve and slider. He throws it harder than most, so you could call it a hard slider, but he uses that as his wipeout pitch.
Good eye right there, and a full count. Greinke just 3-8 against us lifetime. I remember his first outing against us. We had no chance. He was pitching everybody inside, knocking him down. Not on purpose, but he was pitching inside.
It wasn't in this park, though. It couldn't have been, because lifetime he's 0-6 with an ERA just under 8.
No, it was in Kansas City. It was in Kansas City.
For some reason, the Sox have just battered him in this park, and that's hard to understand with his stuff.
Yeah, we had no chance against him in that openers. There's a foul ball that Alex Gordon will handle, so that's out number 2.
Greinke was a former #1 draft choice, the 6th pick overall in a 2002 draft. He's just 25 years old, so he's got plenty of room for growth. Nice size right-hander at 6'2", just a shade under 200 pounds.
Well, the young general manager of Kansas City, Dayton Moore, has done a terrific job since coming over from Atlanta. As Carlos checks it up, foul tips it, and the count 0-1.
I talked with Dayton before the series started, and I asked him what was the secret behind everybody going to get guys who worked under John Sherholtz in Atlanta. And he said all of us came from a scouting background. He said John gave us a lot of autonomy, but we learned how to scout. We moved up the ladder, and eventually a lot of them got their own jobs.
That's up and in. And the count 1-2. Well, when you talk about John Sherholtz, you're talking about, I've been in this game for a long time, the best general manager in the last 50 years.
He was just out of this world, and he came out of Baltimore. I mean, they taught him how to do that in Baltimore.
That breaking ball on the way, 2-2. And that high inside 0-2 pitch right there for Carlos might be the best thing that could happen.
Well, if he wakes Carlos up, that only bodes well for the Sox. Yesterday wasn't the best day for him, and we'll talk a little bit later, Hawk, but I want to know the effects of a broken wrist on a guy with as much power as Carlos has had, because that's what he's coming back from.
Usually wait a year. Now, he could not check it up on that breaking ball, that sweeper, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Greinke, and after one, no score.
Here's the U.S. Cellular text poll question. How many wins will it take to win the American League Central Division? 95 or more? I doubt it. 90-94. Or 85-89. Just text A, B, or C. Go 97999 and watch for the results later in the game.
Jose Guillen will lead it off here in the top of the second inning. Two of the best young pitchers in baseball going at one another tonight. First ball Hunting. Alexei got it. Guns over. Well, let's take another look at this strikeout, Carlos Quentin. He had thrown an 0-2 fastball up and in. Came back with a breaking ball. Nothing. And then what's this breaking ball here?
And Hawk, you talked about the fact that sometimes it takes a year to fully come back from a wrist problem. Could it be that the check swing is a result of not having that kind of hand and wrist strength?
You know, Steve, I had 3 broken right hands. And each time it took a year to get that hand strength back. Now, I never broke a wrist, chipped the wrist like Carlos did. But if you do chip that wrist, then this goes, I think, I'm not a doctor, common sense will tell you, you're going to have a little atrophy in your right hand. So I know in all the hand injuries that I have had and I have seen over the years, it's a solid year before you get your full hand strength back. Now with Herm Schneider, you know, he might cut that down to 3 months.
Take a look at Jose Contreras, supposed to be ready in August, and he was just named the 4th starter and Bartolo Colon the 5th starter. Just to see him back and going to start this season on time, to me, is miraculous.
Well, you know, you talk about the big hurt Frank Thomas being arguably the greatest player in this franchise history. You talk about a lot of pitchers we've had who have been great pitchers. There's not anybody who has helped win more games for this organization than Herm Schneider in the last 30 years. He has saved this organization millions of dollars. He has had fewer DL guys than any team in baseball. And as I said, it's just amazing what a valuable person he's been to the White Sox organization.
Now he also has brand new facilities in that workout room down there, the locker room, so it'll even be a whole lot better for them.
And he's got a couple of great guys working with him too, and Brian Ball and Alan Thomas. Reaches out. Josh got to hurry. Just does get him. So Jacobs is retired. Josh laying back almost a little too much on that grounder.
Well, I talked to Josh Fields about this very thing, and that was the infields are so rock hard in Arizona that you can wait back. And I asked him if he was going to play any different on this field, which is beautifully manicured by Roger Bossard. And he said, yeah, he realizes that it's going to be a lot slower here, and he's going to have to charge things a little bit more. That time, it was just enough to get him by a half a step.
There's a semi-line drive by Billy Butler to Alexei, and it is 6 up, 6 down for Gavin Floyd.
Friday on WGN America, Soriano and the Cubs look to spoil the Brew Crews home opener in Milwaukee. Friday, 4 East, 1 West, WGN America.
Here's tonight's Comcast HD shot of the game. Lindsay Tarpley didn't just throw out the ceremonial first pitch, she kicked it. Lindsay is an Olympic soccer star and now plays for Chicago's newest soccer team, the Red Stars.
From Kalamazoo, Michigan, attended college at North Carolina, now lives in Hermosa Beach. So, congratulations to Lindsay Tarpley. And here, congratulations to number 25, Jim Thome, on that very dramatic 3-run homer in the bottom of the 8th inning yesterday. Curveball strike. That's inside. And if you missed that home run yesterday, poof.
One too many fastballs in the same location for Kyle Farnsworth. And that ball got out in a hurry.
Checks it up. He did not go. Kept the head of that bat back. 2-1 to count to Thome, who now has 542 career home runs. I was talking with Wadlin and Sylvie today. I fully expect Jimmy to hit over 600.
Well, looking at the way he works, and he's as hard a worker as there is on this team. With the bat speed he can generate, he certainly doesn't lack for strength.
Well, as I said our last telecast, to me this is the best he has swung the bat mechanically that I've seen him at any point. He is short and quick, and the bat speed is there.
And what I like about him is there's a lot of home run hitters, and he's probably going to parlay that into a Hall of Fame when he's over, but he'll take a walk. He doesn't swing at a whole lot of pitches out of the zone. And when you lead off an inning, if a pitcher's not going to throw to you, I mean, he threw him a curveball first pitch. You don't want to swing at that. And then he just took 4 straight bad ones.
Well, there are 2 spots in the lineup that you really want to hit in if you're in the White Sox uniform. You either want to hit in front of Tommy or you want to hit behind him. And the reason you want to hit behind him is because you're always catching that guy out of the stretch. Unless there's 2 guys on second, third, and he walks in first base.
And with the right-hand pitcher, you'd like to hit ahead of him because he's not going to pitch around you to get to him.
And you're probably going to get, especially if he misses with the first 2 or first 1 or now in this case 2, you're going to get some fastballs.
Well, Greinke's missed 6 straight pitches, and when he has problems, it's because he can't locate. And now if you're Jermaine Dye, you're looking 1-pitch fastball, you're looking for it middle in, and thinking you're probably going to get it.
And of course, in this culture, in this game, in this day and age, you don't catch as many guys, even with nobody on, in the full windup like you did in years past. A lot of them work from the stretch with nobody on. But every right-hander against a tough right-handed pitcher wants to get him from the stretch. I remember your windup.
That was a full windup.
You had a big windup.
It was the Paul Bird windup in contemporary pitchers.
Yeah, you had a big windup. 3-1 to count. And there, look at this. Is that sweet or what? Tommy's going to pull up at second as Guillen comes in quickly. So the first 2 men aboard.
You keep falling behind 2-0 and 3-1, you're going to give up some hits. He had to throw 2 fastballs in a row. This one drifting back out over the plate. Jermaine takes it through a right side and runs to first and second with nobody out. Now Miguel Olivo goes out to the mound to talk with Greinke. You've got Tommy at second base. They're going to go through a set of signs other than what they've used to this point. And he doesn't want to get crossed up. And remember, Greinke throws a lot of those hard sliders in the dirt, so a lot of pressure is going to fall to Olivo to block anything down and keep the double play in order.
Well, as we discussed yesterday, you've got Mark Tien, who was first of all a third baseman, then an outfielder. Now, because to keep his bat in the lineup, they moved him to second. He's got good range to his left, not that good to his right. So he's going to be cheating a lot more so than a normal second baseman. So the Kansas City Royals for a while are going to have a big hole between first and second in those situations.
Well, it also forces Jacobs to play well off the line at first, leaving a lot of holes on that right side.
Paulie looked like he was thinking about trying to move that one to the right side. Good checkup right there, and takes ball 1.
Konerko's never had any luck with Greinke.
No.
5 for 37. And Hawk, when you have trouble with a pitcher, how do you put it out of your mind to come up for an at-bat?
Well, Paulie is a very unselfish hitter, and he'd be the first one to tell you he has trouble with Greinke. So if this is the case in this situation, as he takes a strike right there, count evens at 1. Paulie's thinking about trying to push the ball to the right side because he sees that big hole. Now, you mentioned Jacobs having to play way off that line like he is. And Paulie can, and we've seen him many times, go down that first base line. But because one guy, the second baseman, is a little bit out of position, it brings another guy out of position. No, he rolled over on that breaking ball, and that's going to be a double play. Paulie did not like that at bat.
Well, he threw that slider, a cut fastball, out away and did exactly what Greinke wanted him to do. And I talked with Frank White before the game. He was a wonderful second baseman for many years with the Kansas City Royals. He's doing the broadcasting tonight. And I asked him about Tien at second because he worked with him, and he said he had to convince him to hit the bag with his left foot and then take a look and get the throw off quickly. He said that's the most important thing. and make sure that you have at least one leg off the ground if you're going to get any contact.
Here's A.J. Big rip right there. That's a grip it and rip it swing. A.J. 1 for 3 yesterday. 9 for 26 lifetime with a homer off Greinke.
That's one of the reasons why he was my pick to click. I figure he gets a good look at Greinke. Now, we haven't seen that straight change yet, the one he's worked on all spring.
And you might not see it, and I'll tell you why. Last year in a game in this ballpark, Greinke hit 3 at-bats through A.J., 3 changeups. One of them went out of the ballpark, and the other 2 were hit for base hits.
So he's probably going to remember that, you think?
Well, pitchers have, even though Ted Williams didn't agree, pitchers
they have good memories with guys that have killed them.
Yeah.
Yes.
These 2 guys have a little bit of a history too.
Well, here's a curveball. Let's see if he can lay off or handle it.
Softly hit, taking Jacobs right to the bag, and that'll retire the side. Sox get the first 2 men aboard, but can't do anything with it. As you check out our Southwest Airlines tail of the tape, top of the 3rd inning. It'll be the lower third of the order. Gordon, Olivo, and Aviles to face Gavin Floyd. Outfield about equidistant, slightly to the left. Gordon with a home run yesterday. Last year he had 260, 16 homers and drove in 59.
Trey Hillman thinks, although he's just in the infancy stages of what he thinks is going to be a great career, that he eventually will hit between 25 and 30 home runs.
Well, to me, he's got a chance to hit 30 or 40.
He's a strong guy that is just now starting to figure out what pitchers want to do with him.
He has a chance to be something special.
We'll take a look at Trey Hillman. Managed a long time in Japan. Won some championships before Dayton Moore got the job and made him his manager at KC.
2 hopper, 1 out.
White Sox group and party area outings. It's priority seating for your group of 20 or more fans. You can save $1 to half off each ticket depending on the size of your group. You can choose the fan deck, the warning track, or an individual game diamond suite. Call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com for more details.
Here's Miguel Olivo. He was 2 for 4 yesterday. Takes that one a little bit low.
Olivo, like most hitters, yesterday hit a couple of fastballs for base hits, but when they went to the breaking ball late, he didn't look real good.
Well, you know, that's one thing about it. You don't have to be a good breaking ball hitter to play in the big leagues, but you better be a good fastball hitter.
Well, if you're not a good fastball hitter, you have no chance.
No, none, 0.
And that's why I have to laugh when I hear people talking about teams that are good fastball hitting teams. Every team's a good fastball hitting team.
There's a fastball, fell back. Well, you run across there are always exceptions in this game, as you know, Steve. But every now and then you run across the exceptional fastball hitting team where I don't care how hard you're throwing, they will turn you around. I remember Minnesota teams a few years ago, and even when I played against Minnesota, when they had Killebrew at first, they had Carew at second. That breaking ball low and away. He had Zoilo Versailles. That's the only thing he could hit was a fastball. Rich Rollins at third. They had Bob Allison in outfield. Jimmy Hall in center. And, of course, Tony Oliva, the great Tony Oliva in right.
Tony Oliva could hit anybody's anything. He was a good one.
Checks it up and a full count.
And there's a case where Gavin Floyd knew if he could throw one of those 2 curveballs over the plate, he was going to get Olivo, and wound up missing with both of them.
Did you ever have the muscle memory? You do the same thing, but you wanted to come back with that 3rd one?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And the 4th one and the 5th one.
He does. And that is the third strikeout. You know, you don't see that quite as much in today's game because obviously the catchers are the ones that are calling the signs. Occasionally you'll have a guy, you know, there's no more wipes. The catchers are calling the signs. But I know a lot of pitchers, especially guys like yourself who are mainly breaking ball pitchers, who are good pitchers. They're liable to throw you because as soon as you throw that pitch and you miss a little bit, you know exactly what went wrong. And then you come back with another one.
Well, if you know you can get a guy out on a certain pitch, I'm not a great proponent in the waste pitch because it doesn't mean very much.
That ball hit hard in the center field. Wise turns around. He's not going to be able to get that one. That's off the fence. So Mike Aviles with the first Kansas City hit. And his first hit, he was 0 for 3 yesterday.
Well, there's an example of the game yesterday dictating the pitch today because they wanted a high fastball, and this one wasn't quite as high as the pitches he was swinging at yesterday. This ball out over the plate. It's fortunate that it's cool tonight, or that one leaves the ballpark. As it is, it hits high off the wall, and Aviles winds up at second base. So after 8 straight retired, the Royals have a man in scoring position.
Leadoff man Coco Crisp called out on a good Gavin Floyd curveball.
One of the things that I think Gavin should be thinking about, at least, Crisp obviously is occupying a lot of his time, but Aviles is getting a tremendous lead at second base. Wouldn't be a bad idea to see Ramirez going back of him, at least try to shorten up his lead a step or two.
That ball hit hard into right center field. Wise is not going to get this one. One hop into the stands, so back-to-back doubles by Aviles and Crisp, and it is 1-0 Kansas City.
It appeared to be another fastball that got a little too much of the plate. And Crisp drives in his first run of the year. A.J. wants it in, and unfortunately Gavin Floyd got it up and away, where Crisp crushed it.
Here's the left fielder David DeJesus, who popped up with Wayne Wise in center field. Takes that ball downstairs. I was just trying to think here. Don't funny. Who's the last pitcher you can recall that used wipes?
Well, I used to use them a lot, and by wipes, for fans who don't understand what we're talking about, if you wipe the top of your uniform, it was adding one number to whatever the catcher called. If you used your pant leg by wiping your glove on it, it was subtracting. And I think I've told you this before, Hawk, I always felt that catcher has the right to put down any fingers he wants to. But until he could show me the column that said losing catcher, I was going to determine what I wanted to throw. Now you'll see today more than ever, catchers will look over in the dugout to see if the pitching coach has any suggestions. A.J. did it prior to this pitch coming.
1-1 the count. Well, that's foul. In years past, that was the vernacular, so to speak. The catcher just suggested a sign. Yes. That was it. He just suggested, say, a fastball. And then if the guy, as Steve mentioned, if he wiped twice upstairs, it was going to be a slider.
A lot of times, certainly. And what's happened now is a catcher sometimes, if you don't want the pitch, he'll give you the same sign again. You don't want it again, he'll give you the same sign again because it's come from the dugout.
To tell you the truth, as a hitter, I used to hate it when a pitcher would stand out there and shake and shake and shake. I started thinking too much. You know, it's that old saying, don't outdumb yourself, and I used to outdumb myself.
You also wonder how many pitches he could possibly have.
2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 in here in the top of the third. Yes, he did. Cannot check it up. But 2 out, back-to-back doubles by Aviles and Crisp. And we trail it 1-0.
Look out, this This is the Bob and Tom Show.
Bob and Tom, tonight at 12 East, 9 West on WGN America.
Very good.
Oh, my.
Hello! Tonight at 1 East, 10 West on WGN America. Brilliant!
Nice crowd on hand. Not a cold night, chilly night here at U.S. Cellular Field after a brilliant opening yesterday, Stoney. And I'll tell you what, we got two good young pitchers out there tonight.
It's time for the Sox offense to come to life against Greinke, who's throwing the ball real well, and Gavin Flood retired 8 in a row before the back-to-back doubles that put the Royals on top.
And go Blackhawks. Yes. 0-2 the count to Alexei. He was 0 for 3 yesterday. Pretty good pitch right there by Greinke. Good job just to fight it off.
I think a few of the Sox hitters are remembering the 0-2 fastball to Carlos Quentin, which almost took the bill of his helmet off. And at 0-2 this time, he tried to go up and in again, but Alexei hasn't met a pitch he didn't like.
Did not check it up. Home plate umpire Bill Hahn made that call.
2009 individual game tickets are on sale now. Get the best seats available for April matchups against the Twins, the Blue Jays, and the Mariners. To purchase your 2009 individual game tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com.
Josh Fields had a big game yesterday. It's the breaking ball right on the outside corner. Good pitch.
Alex Gordon at third doesn't believe he's going to bunt again because he is still 4 steps in back of the bag.
Fastball got it by him.
Now he can move even further back because with 2 strikes, quite obviously he's going to be swinging away.
Outfield to the right. And that's throwing away 2-2. 25 years old, 6'2", 190 pounds. And a full count. And the on-deck hitter, Dwayne Wise. So the second walk issued by Greinke. And here comes Dwayne. Look at that. Philadelphia, Atlanta scored. When I pulled into the parking lot, I think it was 8-3 Atlanta.
It was, and I think they extended that lead to 10-3 before that beleaguered bullpen sent Bobby Cox probably muttering up and down the dugout. They lost that game 12-11 to Philadelphia.
Yeah, Bobby is not a happy camper. Tries to bunt it, pops it up. Olivo is going to make the play.
Well, the one thing that Wise does poorly on the bunt is that he doesn't stay around to get the bunt down. Consequently, as he's leaving, the head of the bat drops. Now watch. You see the head of the bat drop. When the head of the bat drops, you have to pop the ball up. And the best bunter that I saw in my era, Brett Butler, always talked about staying around. Let's one more look at that play from our Southwest RoboCam behind home plate, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Visit southwest.com today.
So here's Getz. Well, he jabs at the ball. And when you jab at the ball, you know, if you have to use one phrase to identify a good bunter, most good bunters, there are exceptions to every rule, but most good bunters catch the ball with the bat.
That's what they always tell you to do.
Catch the ball with the bat.
To deaden it and make sure that you can get it in play.
But you're so right. When you drop the head of that bat, you're going to stab at it.
And unfortunately, I mean, I thought it was a wise choice of play to make for Dwayne Wise. It was the execution that didn't work out very well, and that's 2 times in as many nights for Dwayne, not able to get a bunt down. So it's up to Chris Getz to move this offense along.
Gap out there in right center. And that pitch up high. Fastball at 94. Boy, that scoreboard out there in right center field is beautiful. Wow. Delayed steal right there, and they're going to get him. Miguel Olivo with the best arm from the catchers in the American League. First pitch to Mark Tien, lined hard into center field here in the top of the 4th inning. 1-2-0 for Kansas City. 0-1-0 for our Sox. Tien now 1 for 2. He struck out his first trip.
You can see why they moved Tien to second base to get his bat in the lineup. This is a line drive rocket to center, and an ominous way to begin this 4th inning. 4th inning, by the way, brought to you by Taco Bell's 4th meal. The meal between dinner and breakfast. It's open till 1 a.m. or later.
Takes a strike right there.
Guillen doesn't run particularly well these days, so if you can get the ground ball, you can turn a pair.
Nice job by Pierzynski.
Well, there's nothing a pitcher appreciates more than a catcher who can block the curveball in the dirt and keep the runners right where they are. First of all, it keeps a double play in order, and second of all, gives you confidence that you can throw your best curveball, and even if you throw it in the dirt, it's not going to get by the catcher.
One and 2 the count to the 32-year-old outfielder. As I mentioned, 1 for 4 yesterday and 0 for 1 tonight. Grounded out to short.
And the Royals signed Guillen to a big 3-year contract. So they're paying him in the neighborhood of $12 million a year.
He gone. 5 strikeouts for Floyd.
Sox fans, young and old, can hunt for a prize during the Chicago White Sox Charities Easter egg sale on Sunday, April 12th, as the Sox take on the Twins at 1:05. Purchase a colored egg for $2 before the end of the 4th inning. Eggs will be filled with fun Sox items or a chance to an autographed memorabilia. All proceeds benefit Chicago White Sox Charities.
So here's Mike Jacobs. Quick throw, not in time.
Tien read that nicely and didn't think that A.J. could pounce on the ball in time. So he was going to second base until A.J. kept the ball in front of him, let it roll out in front, and then almost had a play at first base to take him off the base paths.
Jacobs last year with the Marlins. 247, 32 homers, and 93 knocked in.
And that's a tough ballpark for a left-hander to hit.
Fouls that one back.
Kansas City is a fairly aggressive team, and you can see Tien with that ball in the dirt takes off, but A.J. does a great job of blocking it, letting it roll in front of him, which is what you want your catcher to do. You don't have to catch those, just make sure that they roll in front.
And that's up high, 2-1.
Well, Jacobs has very little of any speed, so the double play still comes into play.
Billy Butler on deck. Minnesota leading Seattle 4-2. That game in the top of the third at the Humphrey Dome. The win they had last night was something.
That game last night was a little tough. 9th inning, 2 outs, nobody on base. The Twins trailing by 2. And as they have done so often to so many teams in that wonderful dome they play in, they came back with 3 and won the game. This is the last year for that dome, and I, for one, am going to be very unhappy to see it go.
He walks him. So the first walk issued by Floyd. That'll move T into second and bring up the DH, Billy Butler.
And A.J. Przinsky went out to the mound to talk with Gavin Floyd, because when a right-hand pitcher throws fastballs high and away to a left-hand hitter, it means that he's opening up too soon. And you want him to keep that front shoulder closed, and you can throw to the spot. If you open up too soon, you have no chance of throwing inside to a left-hander, and you're going to just let that ball drift high and away.
Butler 0 for 1, hit the first pitch he saw, a little soft line drive to Ramirez at short. And that is the nice stop right there by Josh on his knees over to Konechka. Beautiful play. Another beautiful play by Josh Fields.
Well, that time playing well off the line served him well, because on a flat-out dive, he realized he didn't have a play at second base, and from his knees, he showed you how strong his arm is. This is a pretty good effort. That ball was actually a little bit behind him, and from his knees, he throws a strike across the diamond. So in 2 games, Josh Fields has shown that, number 1, the surgery has made him much more mobile, and number 2, he at least has the makings of a pretty decent third baseman defensively. That play yesterday was just brilliant.
I picked a click for 09 right there. Josh Fields. I'll tell you, he looks like a different guy as Gordon goes through it. Looks like he looks like an entirely different player this year. Last year, in case you did not hear earlier some of our telecasts, he played virtually on one leg.
And
now you cannot get down at third base on one leg.
And you're not going to hit very well either.
Curveball, that's low.
And that's one of the things I asked him. I talked to him before the game, and I said to him, what's really the biggest difference? And he said, health. And he said, my knee doesn't hurt. It's strong. And it helps me both as a hitter and a fielder.
So 2 out, Ducks on the punt. Tried to backdoor him, and the count 2-1. Now you've got Gordon, a left-handed hitter, and you got Olivo.
Now, I wouldn't be careless with Gordon, who can do you a lot more damage. Not that Olivo can't, but he's a right-hand hitter, and Gordon does have some power.
All right, you're on the mound in this situation.
I don't pitch to him at all, Hawk.
Well, how about the first pitch? What are you going to throw in the first pitch?
Gordon?
Yeah.
I'm going to hit him. Put him at first base, let him think about it, and then strike out Olivo.
I love it. And the funny thing about it, folks, is he means it. So he goes around him.
Yeah, see, if you pitch around him, Hawk, it's 6 pitches. 7 pitches maybe if he fouls one off. And if you hit him with the first one, you keep your pitch count down, and then you throw 3 curveballs to Olivo and get him out.
Well, I played with a guy that had a clause in his contract on base on balls with the Dodgers. His name was Stan Williams. And every time he got somebody 3-0, he just drilled them.
Well, Stan,
and he won his $10,000 bonus too.
He didn't need any encouragement to hit people.
No. Steamer. I love that guy. He's 6'5". And at one time, there were some people who thought he was, without question, the hardest thrower in Major League Baseball.
He was a big man that played with some of those great Dodger teams. And everybody talked about how mean he was as a player.
Had breaking balls down. So the count 1-1 to Olivo, who struck out.
But he told me that he was the 3rd meanest pitcher they had. He said Drysdale was meaner than him, and the meanest of all was a guy that you'd never think, Larry Sherry.
I faced all those guys. Drysdale, Sherry.
Did they all hit you?
Drysdale didn't. The other two got me.
Well, the fans now want a breaking ball, and if he throws one down and close enough, he's going to end this at bat with a strikeout.
Sacks packed. The 1-2 pitch. Got that one in the middle in a little too much.
That one looked like a straight change. And I would go to the hard breaking ball. I think.
Well, to me, that's the worst pitch he could have thrown.
Yeah, I think Olivo's an aggressive hitter, and I don't think that after speeding up his bat, you want to throw him a pitch like that he can handle. Because I don't think he can hit Gavin's real good curve. Not many right-hand hitters can.
Well, this is one of those big outs in a ball game that a pitcher has got to get. Two out, and the 2-2 delivery. He gone. Big out right there for Gavin Floyd as he strands the bases loaded.
Let's take a look at a little defense. First by A.J. Pierzynski, nice play, and Josh Fields with just an outstanding effort on the dive from his knees. He gets him, and then Gavin Floyd with his biggest pitch of the game. That little breaking ball away ended the inning with the bases loaded.
So here's Chris Getz. He was at the plate when Josh Fields tried that delayed steal, and actually it was a good play. Getz had 2 strikes. You had Michael Beavers, the shortstop, playing over towards third for Getz, but Oliva's arm, no thank you.
He's got a quick release, very accurate. Saturday, April 25th at 6:05. It's the White Sox versus the Blue Jays. Enjoy post-game fireworks presented by Connie's Pizza. For game tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com. And for the Blue Jays, Vernon Wells, who's had all kinds of hamstring problems, is now back in the lineup, but they say he's not 100%.
Here's Carlos. Big curveball. Drops it over for a strike. Carlos struck out his first trip. Check swing on a curveball. Olivo to the outside. That's high and wide. You know, we were sitting here, and if you're just tuning in, Steve and I were talking about pitchers. You don't see it anymore who use the wipes. Up top, down below. I recall now who's the last one that I could. That hit him. Carlos.
Well, Carlos is unhappy because he got pushed back at 0-2. And now in a similar situation, although with 1 strike, he gets a high fastball and it catches him high off the shoulder. It looked like the left shoulder. Oliva wants it inside. No, that got him just below the cue.
Well, if I was Carlos, I'll tell you one thing right now. I'm going to make Greinke pay somehow. I'm going to make Greinke pay somehow. Zach, as I said, I've known him since he was in high school. He did that in high school. There's no question. In my mind, he was throwing it.
Well, he just missed the bill of his helmet the first time up at 0-2, Hawk, and I do believe in pushing guys back, but I just don't think you have to do it up by the helmet.
I don't either.
Because I don't think Greinke has near enough control. There's some guys who have good enough control to want to throw it there and get it exactly there. Greinke's not one of them.
Well, I like Zach, and I've known him a long time. But I'll tell you one thing right now. If I'm Carlos Quinn, I'm going to make him pay somehow. Here's Tommy. But what happens in today's game, of course, is that here's Zach Greinke is going to get one of his own players hit now.
Well, this is the first inning. This is an 0-2 fastball, and you can see that one just misses the bill of his cap. And usually who the base runner takes it out on is the pivot man at second base, and Carlos can go in like a freight train.
Well, somebody's going to pay.
Yeah.
You know, we had problems with Kansas City last year with Freddie Hillman. We had a series here. They hit 5 guys in 2 games. And Ozzy's had enough of it. And I don't blame him.
Well, usually when it's a 3-hitter that gets hit or knocked down, you look at their 3-hitter or 4-hitter and just remind them that it's a little too early in the season for starting a beanball war when you play a team another 16 or 17 times.
There's a strike. Man to count 2-1. Yeah, there was a little attitude problem between these two clubs at the end of last season, and Ozzy's not going to stand for it. Well, you saw how fast that Olivo jumped out there, and you saw how fast Bill Hahn got out there. They knew what was going on.
Here's a look at Ozzy. Trey Hillman.
Ozzy giving Hillman the eyeball right there. There's a good breaking ball.
3 straight curveballs, and Jimmy took all 3 of them, and they were all right there.
That's almost the perfect curve.
Yeah, there's not much you can do with that, and Jimmy probably didn't think for 1 minute that Greinke could throw 3 of them for strikes, but he did.
Just a short lead by Quinton at first, as Jermaine had a nice base hit. The only one we have in this ball game. That was back in the 2nd inning after Tommy had let it off with a walk. Pushed it to the right side, right in the hole.
And the outfield is playing a no doubles defense. I mean, they are back there.
That was their MO last year. They played no doubles defense, everybody.
Well, this is a situation where you're up by a run, and you'd like to cut off anything in the alley, make sure that Quinton can't score.
Well, you saw how deep Guillen was playing yesterday. So now the count 1-2.
This game tonight has so far taken on a lot of characteristics of the game last night, when Kansas City also broke out on top, and the Sox had to come back. I think it's nice, Hawk, they announced, although they haven't been signed yet, that all of the coaches are in line to get extensions. We were talking about the coaches in the game yesterday and how hard they work. I think they deserve it. I think that these coaches especially love to be here under Ozzy with the White Sox, and they're going to be here for a while longer.
So he strikes out Tommy and Dye after he drills Quinton, and we'll go to the 5th.
Around the world for free. The adventure begins April 16th at 9 East, 9 West, a WGN America original.
For a limited time, head to McDonald's for a full meal under $5. The McDonald's Appetite Stimulus Package is your choice of 1 of 4 tasty sandwiches, fries, and an ice cold drink. A full meal for under $5. Prices and participation may vary.
Mike Avilius will lead it off as he hits the first pitch, slaps it into right field for a single. Avilius, who doubled and scored back in the 3rd, as Jermaine trying to nail him with Terzinski creeping in behind him.
Well, what AJ did is something I like, especially for a catcher, and that is you try to knock a guy off the bag by using your shin guard. Now,
Well, they got him.
This
No,
is
they
probably AJ's idea of maybe getting Kansas City to think about throwing less at some of the Sox hitters because A.J.'s following him. And a big swipe tag.
Well, the umpire, if he sees it's an intentional block like that, he can protect the runner.
Yeah, he can.
But again, he never got back to the bag until after the tag was made. So evidently that was called by Bruce Dreckman.
That was a nice play. Because as soon as Jermaine, who was looking to get the ball into second base, saw A.J. behind Aviles, he threw a strike to the first base bag.
Well, J.D. likes to throw behind the runners in those situations quite a bit. Here's Crisp. There's all kinds of ways to get somebody.
Watch it again as Aviles. If he goes one more step, he's out. Apparently he had an owie.
Crisp with that RBI double. There's the bunt, was fouled away. Now, I got a feeling this could be an interesting season between these two clubs.
Well, first of all, Kansas City is improved. They improved their bullpen, although yesterday wasn't a good day for them. But they got Juan Cruz, who's going to really help them. Soria at the end is terrific, but he was here last year. And they added Jacobs, who's a guy with potential to hit 30 home runs. And they added Crisp, and he's going to go get him in center field in that spacious ballpark in Kansas City.
That ball, the wild pitch. So now, the man at second base.
Crisp wants to bunt. That ball hit in front of home plate. A.J. had no chance as that ball hits off his gear and goes over his back. Aviles thinking about maybe going to third, holds up right there, and now it becomes a different bunt. Because now you want to bunt it to third base. With Aviles at first, you want to bunt it at first base.
That's down the first base line, and nice play by Gavin. So the sacrifice 1-3. With the speed of Crisp, he can just lay it down almost anywhere except right back to the pitcher.
We'll show you the replay from the Southwest RoboCam. Good solid bunt. Kept it on the grass so it wouldn't roll foul. And on the out, Aviles moves up 90 feet.
And here's De Jesus, who's popped to center and struck out on a check swing breaking ball. Infield in. And that pitch a little bit low.
If you're on the mound right now and you know your infield is in at the cut of the grass, you've got to keep the ball down. You can't really afford a fly ball. Sox already trail by 1. You're looking for either a strikeout or keeping this ball in the infield with a breaking ball.
Off his foot. So the count evens at 1. Chilly evening here in Chicago. Had a beautiful day. Had a beautiful day for the opener yesterday after getting snowed out and cold out, so to speak, on Monday.
And a pretty nice day today.
Yeah, it was.
I would assume that a good portion of this crowd are walk-ups when they realized that there was no rain or snow in the forecast.
Big pitch. And that is just foul. Thank you very much.
That missed by an eyelash. Bruce Dreckman right there straddling the line. And we'll watch it again. You got Konerko in. He's got no chance on this hopper. And that ball just on the other side of the line.
So instead of 2-1, it is 1-2. Big pitch right there. Hitter's got to expand his strike zone. Down 1 and 2. And the man on third. And 1 out. He gone.
Well, very rarely will you consciously try for a strikeout. But in a situation that Gavin Floyd was in, he had to have one. And this is that good snapping curveball right over the middle of the plate. He just freezes the Hastings.
Yeah, he started that ball way out, and it just kept digging. So here's Tien. Tien a strikeout and a sharp single to center. Tries to backdoor him right there, and he misses.
I think I'd be pretty careful with Tien here, who swung the bat very well last time. He's had Jose Guillen's number twice, and he's in the on-deck circle. You've got first base open, and you'd open a force at second if you pitched around Tien here.
And that's into right field, and that's going to fall for a base hit. Didn't hit it hard, didn't get it in quite deep enough. 2-0.
Tien's hitting number 3 for a reason. And Gavin got that fastball up. For Tien, that's his first run batted in this year.
Well, the vertical was all right. It was just the horizontal that got him.
Yeah, it's just, my feeling is when you got the number of a right-hand hitter coming up and you got the breaking ball that Gavin had, I would have been a lot more careful with Mark Tien. I'd have made him hit a breaking ball or put him on first base.
Ian, that grounder to short and a strikeout. And there's another grounder to short. Alexei on the move. And that'll retire the side, but a big 2-out. RBI single by Tien. We're halfway home, trailing 2-0.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago White Sox and may not be reproduced nor retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and description of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago White Sox.
Here's the U.S. Cellular text results. How many wins will it take to win the AL Central this year in the American League? 95 plus. 25% said that. That's a big number. 90 to 94, 52%. Or 85 to 89, 23%. And I'll go with B. I can't text, but I'll still go with B.
First pitch strike to Konerko. Raleigh hit into a 6-4-3 double play back in the second inning. Took a lot off that curveball with a big motion and the count 0-2.
Well, as Greinke has gotten older, he's learned to have two different types of curveballs. We've seen the one that's the put away, and the other one is the one to get you out front and get you to a point where he can then get you. That was the 0-2, the 0-1 slow curveball.
And he gets him on 3 pitches. Raleigh has had a tough time against Zach Greinke in his career. He's now 5 for 39.
He threw the soft curve, then the hard curve. And that's just some pretty good pitching by Greinke.
So both pitchers now with 6 strikeouts. And both pitchers with 2 walks. And here's A.J. grounded out softly to Jacobs at first base. Tried to backdoor him with that curve.
I would like to see A.J. start hitting the ball a little bit more to left and left center field, because when he's doing that, eventually the pitchers have got to come inside.
That's off the corner and the count 2-0. Well, A.J., in my opinion, still doesn't have a clue of how good he could be offensively.
No, I think that he hasn't reached his ceiling yet, and he's been around a long time.
Greg Walker's been trying to. There's a strike. And still letting into A.J. A.J. gets down on himself too much, too quickly, offensively. He doesn't take it behind the plate with him. But he'll get down on himself in a hurry. He's got a ton of talent. There's a line shot.
And that's what we're talking about, Hawk. Greinke stayed away on 3 straight pitches. And if A.J. tries to pull that ball, it's a ground ball to second. But by just staying on top of it, driving the ball right where it's pitched, he comes up with a base hit.
Well, A.J. has the power. That's a good pitcher's pitch. Going away from it. He has the power to hit home runs to left center field. He's a big, strong guy. He can hit the ball over the center field wall. Now they're talking about that play at first base where he blocked off Avila's. And here is Alexi Ramirez. Struck out, check swing. That's foul. When A.J. is hitting the ball, when he's using the whole yard, he is a much more dangerous hitter. When he goes up there looking to go deep, he's only playing with a third of the field. His numbers go down.
Well, a pitcher can see that, Hawk. He can see if you're pulling out and trying to roll over on anything away, and he'll just stay there.
There's another chop of dust foul. Goes the count 0-2.
Now, one of the lost things in baseball today used to be every time a middle infielder read a sign, let's say that Greinke was going to use a slow breaking ball to a left-hand hitter, Mark Teahan would tell Jacobs at first the breaking ball was coming. He'd give him a sign, and Jacobs could cheat toward the line. And I talked to Teahan if he did that, and he said that he did. And he feels that Aviles does the same thing with Gordon.
This should be 2. And the thrower takes him off the bag. So Alexi is safe. 2 now.
2009 individual game tickets are on sale now. Get the best seats available for the April matchups against the Twins, the Blue Jays, and the Mariners. To purchase your 2009 individual game tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com.
Well, Steve, one of the things that, as you mentioned, has been lost. I never played a game in Fenway Park in right field. I didn't know when off-speed pitch was coming. Never played a game.
It really helps because then you look like you're actually getting a better jump because you're anticipating a guy pulling the ball.
Well, Steve, there's, the thing about it, too, is there's only one way to get a good jump in the outfield, and that's to be into the ball game. Now, if I've got a second baseman that's giving me the sign on a straight change or a curveball, besides keeping me in the ball game, it is taking that pop-up of that strikeout that I had the time before out of play. And now, as there's a shortstop, Aviles throws out Josh Fields, and that'll retire the side in the 5th. It is 2-0 Royals. Everything in that picture is just beautiful except the score. Kansas City leading 2-0 here in the top of the 6th inning. 2-5-0 for the Royals, 0-2-0 for our guys. Mike Jacobs, big hack, no contact, and the count 0-1. He is grounded to third, and he walked. And the count 0-2. Finale of the series tomorrow. Johnny Danks against Kyle Davies.
Nice matchup. Quick turnaround with a day game tomorrow. I'm anxious to see John Danks do a little bit better than the 12-9 last year. In fact, he could have been a lot better than 12-9 last year.
Johnny Danks last year, if you want to push the envelope a little bit, could have won 19 ball games. With all the bad luck he had, realistically speaking, he should have won 17 or 18.
And he's got a good chance of doing that this year because the guy that we saw in spring training was a much more confident pitcher than last year. Well, I think he swung at that.
It looked like from up here. Well, Johnny Danks last year, if he didn't have any bad luck, he wouldn't have had any luck at all.
Well, he didn't get a whole lot of offensive support. We'll watch it again and see if Jacobs goes around.
Well, he pulled it up. But there were several times last year he left with a pretty comfortable lead and
it was
forget it.
Bye-bye, yes.
Oh, yeah. That curveball frozen. Strikeout number 7 for Gavin.
Left-handers give up on this because they see it high and away. but it rotates so quickly, and Gavin throws it harder than most pitchers do, and it just freezes the left-hand hitter.
Billy Butler fouls it off. He's 0 for 2. You know, we were talking about the wipes when Carlos got hit. I remember the last guy in a White Sox uniform that used him was Tom Seaver.
He used him pretty well.
Yes,
he used him all the way to Cooperstown.
You know, Tom Seaver was one of the great pitchers to ever hold the rubber. And people to this day know him as being a great pitcher, but they don't realize how hard he threw.
At the beginning, it just didn't seem fair, because not only did he throw hard, because a lot of guys in that era did, but he was able to throw hard and keep at knee level consistently.
Well, you didn't find many right-handers that threw hard down low. In fact, Seaver could do it. The three guys that really stick out as right-handers who threw bullets downstairs. First of all was Jim Maloney from Cincinnati. Next of all was Bob Gibson and Seaver. Those three guys, I mean, threw hard down low. Now, you'd see left-handers that threw hard down low, but not too many right-handers. As he strikes out. So back-to-back strikeouts of Jacobs and Butler, and 2 out.
Well, now, Hawk, they're going to learn to appreciate Tom Seaver as a wine man, because he's got his own vineyards and he's bottling his own wine.
Oh, he's a connoisseur.
Yes. White Sox premium seating, an experience unlike any other. The Chicago White Sox offer a range of premium seating options like the Jim Beam Club or the new LG Skyline Club. Exclusive amenities and benefits include former player visits, autograph signings, menus provided by Levy Restaurants, and base hits. And personalized service and much more. Call 312-674-1000 or email premiumseating@whitesox.mlb.com.
So there's the base hit by Gordon. Number 6 for Kansas City, and make that 9 strikeouts for Gavin Floyd. Yeah, but Steve, I remember a trip. We were going from Oakland to Seattle, and he went out to this guy he knows that owns a vineyard. And we got, the next day we were leaving, so he gets on the plane and he's got a little box full of port. I mean, good port. So we're sitting together on the plane, telling some lies, and he starts cracking these bottles of port. Well, between the two of us, by the time we got to Seattle, we'd killed 4 of the 6. Now we go to this restaurant, and needless to say, we had a good time.
A real good time, yes.
The next day I woke up, I'll tell you what, my hair was hurting. But Steve, I'll tell you, I don't understand why today he's still not in the broadcast booth. He was excellent to me. He knew not too many pitchers we've talked about know more about the game too much than pitching.
I don't think he wants to, Hawk. Otherwise, I think he could find a job easily.
Well,
I mean, this is a guy that, number one, his personality was good. Number two, he was an analytical type pitcher. He was like a Greg Maddux with a little bit better stuff all the way across the board. And I think he made an exceptional pitching coach. I don't think there's anything he couldn't do in the game, but I think he's really happy growing grapes in the Napa Valley.
Yeah, he was something. Nice block again by A.J. 2-1 to count.
A.J.'s done a nice job tonight. Gavin Floyd throwing a lot of pitches in the dirt. And you see A.J. turn over the glove. And what you do is you bring your elbows in, angle your body forward so that when it hits your chest protector, it can't get by you, and it bounds straight in front of you so the runner can't advance.
There goes the runner. Oliva with a ground ball down to Josh. Nice little overhand peg. And that'll retire the side. Nothing across. There was a hit one left. And after 5.5 is still 2-0 Kansas City.
Honey, it's the money we could be saving with Geico. I'm on it.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
It's the money you could be saving with Geico. he's not much for conversation. But if he was, it would be a conversation about saving you money.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Create your own White Sox collectible using your favorite photos at the photo store on whitesox.com. In 3 easy steps, you can make your very own White Sox memory. Go to whitesox.com today.
Top of the order here in the bottom of the 6th. It'll be Wise, Getz, and Quentin face Zach Greinke.
Well, this is a good time for Wise to break out of it. He didn't hit the ball well the first time, a bad bunt the second time, and by now he knows exactly what Greinke throws and exactly how his fastball moves, and look away.
Well, everything is self-induced. You know that.
When you're not hitting, you're taking that first ball fastball. It's right there, and you're setting up something right in on your hands.
That's one of the most beautiful things about the game of baseball. When you're swinging the bat well, hitting a baseball is really not that difficult. But when you're swinging the bat bad, it's the most difficult thing in sports. Big hack. There's a little in between there, but not much. That's why those great hitters always amazed me. They really did. The 0-2 pitch. Just got a piece of it.
Well, I saw the first series that Albert Pujols had in the major leagues, and it was against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I watched Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling and a number of other very good relievers try to find one spot where they could get him, and they threw him everything.
As Wise goes down, the fans really getting on it.
But in that one series, watching Pujols and the weight distribution, because he hit with a wide stance, he very rarely went out ahead like Blaine did on that curveball, and nobody has yet found a way to get Pujols out consistently.
Well, Tony told me he's the best hitter he's ever seen.
Out of this world.
Here's Getz. He's grounded to third and struck out. Greinke has 7. Kevin Floyd has 9.
This is the 84th pitch for Zach Greinke.
And 2 out.
One of the oddities as Mark Teahan fields that ball is that this is, in the last 4 years, the 4th position where Teahan has started. His first year he started at third base. His second year he started in right field. Last year he started in left field. And today he starts at second base. The record, by the way, is 5 years at 5 different positions.
Now, Pete?
I'm not sure who did it. I assume it probably could be Pete Rose.
Here's Carlos. Struck out and was drilled by Greinke.
Well, now if you're Carlos, you got to look away. First of all, at about 6'2", 220, and probably as fast as Greinke, he doesn't want to see Carlos come to the mound. I would be looking away.
Well, Greinke doesn't have to worry about Carlos because of Miguel Olivo, who's faster than Carlos. Big hack. No, what you do in that situation, I say, Carlos is going to make him pay somewhere. I don't know, down the line. We got a lot of games with these guys, or Greinke is going to get one of his own hitters to pay for Carlos. Okay.
Well, both of those pitches, Hawk, were away, and that one came pretty close as Carlos fouled it straight back.
That's up high. But you file this, and that's what guys have a habit of doing. 3-1 with Tommy on deck. Boy, wouldn't it be nice to see him go around, because he does not want to get inside on him again and see Tommy with the blast again.
It happens a lot.
And that's ball 4.
Let's check out who's moving forward with Toyota. And you'd have to say Jim Thome. He hit his 542nd career home run to win the ball game yesterday, ranking 14th with Mike Schmidt. Ranks 3rd among active players. Ken Griffey Jr. has a homer this year, and Alex Rodriguez has a surgically repaired hip.
So here's Thome, has walked and struck out. Outfield very deep. They got the shift on. Swings at that curveball, took a little something off, got it upstairs. Thome still couldn't do anything with it.
That's 4 straight breaking balls to Jim Thome. 3 of them struck him out last time up, and this time another one on the first pitch.
That's inside. And if you're just tuning in, the pitches we were talking about, Carlos Quinn, this is in his first at bat.
Well, the last pitch of this sequence is going to put him on first base.
That was not the sequence. 2 balls and a strike to Thome.
Jimmy's just looking for something that he can get his hands out and drive to left center field.
Anyway, if you're just tuning in, the first pitch in his first at bat, not the first pitch, but in his first at bat, he almost got hit in the head. And then in Carlos's second at bat, he got drilled. The ball was thrown behind him.
Well, we're going to have to hope that Greinke hangs a breaking ball to Thome, because after throwing a fastball by him, you would think Oliva would be going to the breaking ball.
Yeah, he's got Jimmy a little bit in between here. He comes back with a fastball upstairs.
Got a little lucky because that ball drifted out over the plate, but he threw it a little higher than Jimmy would have wanted. Now the count goes full. The advantage is Carlos will be running with the pitch, and he can score from first on a double.
But after this sequence right here to Thome, the advantage here really goes to Greinke. He has a broken bat, and the shift is going to get it. He had Tien playing out there in short right field. A Matabatacola, and that'll do it. We're into the 7th. It is still 2-0.